Hey guys, it's Courtney from Your House Fitness, and I'm here to break down bird dog, that famous exercise. So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have gone to chiro or physio or have Googled exercises to help with lower back pain and have seen bird dog and maybe have just gone through the motions and basically hope for the best. And while it might not be the most complicated exercise out there, there's a lot of little things that you need to know when you're doing it to execute it properly, right? So basically we're gonna break this down. So the easy part of this is that you are on the floor. I'd probably recommend getting a mat, okay? Protect the knees. And basically you're gonna get into a 4-point position, okay? So before we go through a set of it, I'm gonna break it down for you here. So you just kind of wanna make sure that number one, you're in the proper spot. So my wrist should be under my elbow, which is under my shoulder, right? So I want a straight line here. Same thing with my knee. I want my knee under my hip. So if you can get that set, then you're off to a good start, okay? Sometimes I'll watch people and I can see that maybe their chiropractor gave them a list of things that they should be doing, but nobody ever showed them how to do it. So they're at the gym trying to do it by themselves, right? They've never actually formally been taught. So I sometimes see stuff like this. People have no idea. Well, that could be a progression of this exercise. You need to know the foundation before you can progress off of it. I hope that makes sense. So priority number one, on the floor, hands and knees, check your alignment, shoulders away from ears. It's always, we'll go through all the push-up tutorials, any type of exercise that you're gonna be on your hands for. Proper positioning means shoulders away from the ears, so depress your shoulders, okay? And then rotate them. And again, it's almost like you're screwing your hands into the ground, okay? So this kind of idea. So I'm gonna open everything up, okay? So number one, I've got my foundational form ready to go. Now, you can have your feet like this. You might see this in yoga where your toes are pointed. As a strength coach and somebody who used to work in the world of chiro and physio, you generally are going to want to have your toes under you, okay? It's going to just help you not think so much about proper form. And when you go to actually extend that leg, you're going to want to flex through anyway. So I'd rather you get out of this. So if, again, you're in a class where they're doing something like this, I would suggest this always, okay? So again, you're trying to work your butt, basically. So you're gonna wanna do everything in your power to prime your glutes here. So I'm gonna keep the toes flexed. So here we go. So bird dog, basically, I'm gonna tighten up my abs as best I can. I'm looking straight down or maybe 45 degrees in front of me. It's an opposite arm and leg game. So I'll do a rep to show you. So basically, I'm gonna try my best to keep my hips as still as possible as I lift my right arm, thumb up always, we'll talk about that, and my left leg out. And I wanna reach, stretch, like somebody's pulling me apart. But what I don't wanna do is wobble, okay? Fall over to the side, bend like this. I wanna be as fully extended as I can, okay? So if you're starting this out and you're not terribly flexible or you're feeling a lot of discomfort in the lower back and maybe that's why you're doing this exercise, you don't need to kick up so high. You just need to just extend the leg. If this is a progression for you, where you need to touch the floor with one arm, so I've got my right arm reaching forward, okay, and my left toe reaching out, that's okay, that's acceptable. You get the idea that this is how to start. Again, focus on the core, keep your abs of steel, okay? And your objective here is to lift the opposite arm and leg without the hips moving pretty much at all. Okay, so both my hips are gonna be square. Got my gunslingers here, okay? My belly button, my hips pointing at the ground the entire time. So I wanna keep as stiff and tight as possible while I move my opposite arm and leg around that axis. Also, general rule of thumb with arms and shoulders is you always wanna have that arm externally rotated. You don't need to worry about what that means right now. Just always think thumbs up, okay? So the easiest thing for you, just think thumb up when you're doing this reach. Again, not the end of the world if you're reaching with your palm like this, but your shoulder will be a lot happier with you. I have some shoulder injuries from sports that I've played. This feels nice. I don't have any pain, I don't have any pinching or stickiness because it gives my arm a little bit of, gives my shoulder, excuse me, a little bit of room, okay? We can talk about that another time, but basically thumbs up, foot flexed, let's give it a whirl here, okay? All right. I'm so excited I can't even speak, all right? It's usually how it is with exercise with me. All right, so I'm gonna set myself up, got my foundation, abs of steel, shoulders down, and I'm gonna do about 10 reps here, okay? Opposite, so 5 on the left, 5 on the right, alternating. So I'm gonna go with my right arm, left leg, I'm gonna hold 1 Mississippi or 2 seconds, bring it back, reset, And now I want to try to shift to the other side without compromising my balance. I'm going to go nice and slow. Everything is controlled. I'm not whipping through this. If your chiro or physio told you to do 20 reps and you're just like winging this, take it easy. Take your time. The objective is muscle activation. Okay? And I know it might be a chore for some of you who've got to do this a lot to get rid of any type of lower back discomfort or hip pain or whatever you're experiencing. Okay? So we get the idea here that I'm trying to move nice and slowly. I'm always moving with intent. I'm paying attention to the exercise I'm doing. If you're doing this for physio purposes, probably not a good time to be watching Netflix, okay? I hate to tell you, just give yourself 2 minutes where you can pay attention to the exercise you're doing, okay? Good. And I'm gonna do one more. Reset. All right. So this exercise is very important. Again, it might not look like it's the most complicated thing in the world, and it isn't, but you do have to remember a few things where you're engaging through the glutes when you're kicking straight back, externally rotated shoulders, so making sure that the thumb is up as you're reaching. I would keep your eye lying down. You always want a neutral neck. I know I'm talking to you guys and looking at the camera, but when you do the exercise, generally always a neutral spine, so a neutral neck. You don't want to be cranking your head up to look forward, okay? Keep your neck relaxed. You don't need to give yourself any injuries, okay, in the neck, just trying to do an exercise that's for your back. This exercise is so important, actually, that it's in the top 2 exercises on the American Chiropractic Association website. It used to be like you would go on that website and literally it would show you bridging, and then it would show you this exercise. So they're the most commonly prescribed exercises for lower back discomfort. And the reason for that is usually because a lot of people's lower back discomfort is caused by weak butt cheeks, all right? So sometimes you'll hear people say hibernating high knees, which I laugh at all the time. But basically just glute dysfunction, because most of us sit down all day, right? So you're sitting on your butt, they kind of just go dormant, for lack of better terms. So the idea here is that if you're getting sciatica or lower back pain and you're sitting like this, right, in a flexed hip position, you're going to want to be doing exercises that are going to be extending the hip, right? You're opening the hip. You're trying to activate those glutes so that they're working properly. They're super strong. They're probably the strongest like powerhouse in the core anyway. So if they're not working very well, everything's kind of going to collapse. So bird dog, let's do 10 reps one more time here, okay? Walk through it one more time, and then I want you to try this on your own. So here we go again. Check my alignment. My knees are under my hips. Wrists, elbows, shoulders away from ears. I screwed my hands into the floor, opened myself up here. My gaze is straight down or 45 degrees in front of me, but neutral neck, okay? Tighten up those abs, keep everything nice and tight. And with intent, okay, I'm going to go right arm, left leg, squeeze, hold for a couple of seconds, bring it back in. Bracing my core. Good, reach. And bring it back in. I really want you to focus on stretching, but I want you to focus on squeezing. I'm squeezing this butt cheek at the top, hard as I can, and bring it back down. Be very mindful, maybe do this by a mirror to make sure that the back isn't like arching, okay? So abs of steel, bring it back in. Good. Okay, and again, don't forget, just give it that hold at the top there. Good, 8. We'll go 9. And we'll go 10. All right. So hopefully next time when you go to do your physio homework or warming up, bird dog's a great exercise to warm up those glutes and shoulders, basically the whole body, who are we kidding? Before you start any bigger lifts, hopefully you kind of remember how to get yourself into position properly and the purpose of the exercise itself, okay? Any issues or questions, of course, we're always around, so you can ask away. And until next time, happy bird dog. Ing.